If you're looking to buying a new home or selling your home, please go see Legacy Realty Group, Remax Vantage, and speak to Valdir Baptista Correa, real estate agent, 508-441-1628. His email is valdircorrearealtor@gmail.com. His motto is, your perfect home is out there. I can help you find it. That's Valdir Correa at 508-441-1628. Buy a home, or you can sell the one you have. But see this guy. Like he says, your perfect home is out there. I can help you find it.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. And it's an honor for me to, let me tell you my name. My name is Charlie Perry of the Really Charlie podcast. And my guest today is Mark Smith. And I was fascinated looking at a lot of things about this guy and can't wait to speak to him. And I'm going to give you a little bio about him only because you need to know this guy's credentials, and he's definitely on point. And please, he's all over the place, social media, YouTube. He's definitely doing his thing. Got his website. I definitely want to get one of his very, very nice mugs, coffee mugs, because I drink coffee every day, and I'm definitely going to reach out and get that. So he is the curator of A Bigger Vision Within. That's Mark V. Smith, specializes in speaking from his own personal experience of trials and tribulations in life. His desire to chronicle choices and share the journey resonates at his core personally and professionally. Smith is a vice president of MACCA and also former RESEA facilitator for the Department of Labor, an alumni of the Ohio State University. Yes, Buckeyes. He has a strong passion for mentoring. Smith lives with his wife, Tasha, in Laurel, Maryland. Smith is an award-winning Strive trainer at the Center for Urban Families in Baltimore, Maryland. His teaching and guidance has changed the lives of thousands of men and women, not only in Maryland, but nationwide. His podcast, The Process, depicts life's challenges we all must endure. They also present the insight we all have within to face those storms, as they arise. By using clever use of acronyms within his messages, he offers a way for us to remember key points as we grow forward. One of the methodologies Smith often speaks of is believing your way is greater than your situation, which is part of the process of your process. This gives us the perspective that we are always growing forward. And one of those acronyms was AIRR, AIRR. And the key thing you mentioned was respect. And I do respect you for everything that you're doing because you're bringing your knowledge forward and you're helping thousands and thousands of people. And I want to say, Mark Smith, 5 stars to you.
Oh, thank you, Charlie, for having me tonight. It's an honor, man. It really is an honor to have an opportunity to come and share and talk and meet great people and get a chance to really talk about what's going on in the world as well as how he'll be of service to anybody that's out there, man. So I'm really excited to be here tonight.
So true. The comments are already coming in, man. They're coming in. It's let's see, that's Go Giga Creations, I believe. It says the team and I are looking forward to the podcast. I believe it is. It says hashtag Team Mark. Yes, I'm going to use that hashtag after this show. And Nathaniel Booth, another milestone. I am blessed by your kindness, of course. We all are. Roger Hopewell says, my hero, and yes, Mark. And my good friend and my colleague, who actually does the radio station with me, Russell Raymond, says, good show. And he's a definite. I wish he was part of this interview because he would have loved it. But he's doing his thing, you know. So, Mark, I want to talk to you about everything that you're doing, but I want to first find out who was your inspiration. Was it something religious? Was it something biological? You know, a mom, a dad, cousin, mentor? What inspired you to do the things you're doing?
You know what? That's a great question. And funny you brought that up today, because my wife and I both are trained in the workforce development field, and we started talking about interview questions. You know, the questions that we can ask individuals, and that was one of the questions that we talked about. While most people will turn and they identify a figure, somebody that they truly can't relate to, or maybe not even met.
Yes.
I'm going to say that my hero, or the person that I respect the most, will probably be the failures that have happened in my life.
True.
Not a person, a situation. Because without those types of things, it wouldn't have catapulted me to try to sit down and reflect on why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I always go back, man, and I think about I don't want to say the crushing blows that happen in life, because I'm gonna be honest, and I tell everybody there hasn't been a situation, not a problem, because we don't have problems, we have situations.
True.
There hasn't been a situation in life that we have not gotten through. We're 100% capable, and our track record is 100%. It may not come out, or it may not end the way we wanted it to end, but guess what? We made it through it. Yes. So dialing back, man, and actually thinking about, my, high school, going into high school and excelling in athletics, to going on to college and having an opportunity to participate and do things at another level, but put off graduation because I don't say made the decision, but it was by chance that I had children at an earlier age. So I had to stop what I was doing then and stop living for me and start living for them. And then, you go on and you try to build relationships with individuals, and you have a failed marriage that you learn something from. You learn what type of person you're supposed to be, but also what type of person is going to best be compatible for you as you move into your next life and your next segment of life. I mean, those types of things, man, are key components of who made me, what made me. My mom's cooking, those Miss Meal crabs. Those, when you go to college, you can't eat anymore. Those types of things, that the staying out late when you're not supposed to, the busting curfew in college and getting away with it, but not getting away with it. All those types of things, kind of what are the combination that eventually came to a head back in 2018 when the powder keg erupted and I started to develop the process.
Good. The reason for that question is to give you flowers while you give someone else flowers while you're standing. And in some cases, sometimes we cannot give flowers to the people that we followed or stepped in their footsteps to, only because they had passed away. And I surely appreciate podcasts now because it's audio and it's video of people that we can share years and years down the line, and you think about so many people that you had met over your lifetime, and you wish that you just had a video of that particular person, or maybe even that one particular conversation you had in the neighborhood or on the front stoop or something like that. And or even in the barbershop, those conversations, you wish they were videotaped, or audio or something, So the purpose of this podcast is to always have it, a video available. So when someone's looking up Mark V. Smith, they got a video along with yours. The your credentials are amazing, and it, just by the titles that you had and earned, it goes to show me that you are a people person. Um, because sometimes those titles don't pay a lot, and and you're doing your thing.
Mhm.
So the now your podcast is called The Process,
Mhm.
and that's on Anchor, correct?
It's on Anchor. It's on TuneIn. It's on Pandora. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on all the major platforms that are out there under the Mark Smith, The Process.
Okay. I was very when you were oops, when you were with Mr. Black, your friend, your dear friend from Ohio, and you guys did that interview and that video. That's a dude that I could sit down with and talk with, and he talked about he's a communicator.
Mhm.
And what made me laugh was he said he had a conversation, long conversation with someone, and didn't get the gentleman's name. And I've done that so many times. And but I want you to pass it on to your friend, which now he's on my friends list. So I'm gonna follow him, and I definitely know I'm gonna send him an invite to be on the Really Charlie podcast, only because I'm already fascinated with him. So and
Mhm.
so he is actually, which gets to this question. I mean, this point. You are also on Star 107 FM,
Mhm.
which it's Anthony Black is actually the owner, creator. Um, and what do you do at the radio station?
I'm actually my show, The Process, is actually aired on that every other Saturday.
Okay.
So I've actually have been blessed to utilize three platforms. I, of course, the podcast itself, which is again on all the other media outlets. I the radio show, which actually is every other Saturday, and on the radio show, I have an opportunity to debut the new message that's going to be coming out for that particular segment inside the sessions. And then I also host a TV show. It's called the Process Roundtable. And on the roundtable, I actually sit down with other individuals and we break down my acronyms. So, we take a look at what they mean to them in their life. And then we have get feedback from the audience and individuals who are listening just to kind of see what it means to them.
Mm.
Because, a lot of people asked me at the beginning, Mark, how are you going to put this together? What is going to make sense for individuals to understand what you're talking about? And I always remembered something that was simple that was told to me a long time ago. It says, if you teach it quick, you'll make it stick. And so, if we've all gone through places, gone through and listened to speakers and listened to professors, and we only can remember a couple things out of everything. I said, well, wait a minute. I have a powerful message in the process. It's something that everybody goes through, but they will never remember the entire message unless they listen to it over and over again. But they will remember an acronym. They remember you mentioned AIR, accountability, integrity, responsibility, and respect. That is the foundation of life. That was
Mhm.
the very first podcast that I released because I wanted you to have something to go through and make sure that you are building on something and always be able to revert back to. So it was it's very enlightening. And when I first released that, I went to Star 107, David Bynum and Anthony Black, and I said, listen, I created a podcast that I think is pretty dynamic, and I think it's going to impact some people. Would you mind taking a listen to it? And David Bynum is the executive director. Anthony Black is a program director. So they took a listen to it, and they out to me and said, "We'll put you on the show if this is something that you want to do." And I said, "Well,
Nice, real nice.
I don't know. I really don't know, but if this is something that I want to do," he said, "Okay." I tell you what, this is the only time I'm gonna give you this opportunity. And hung up the phone. So I
Mhm.
went to my wife and said, listen, here is an opportunity for me to start to take this message to another level than what I talked about. And she looked at me, she just turned and walked away. And then as she walked away, she said, you're crazy if you don't do this. So I picked up the phone, I contacted David, and we had that conversation. And So in June of 2021, excuse me, June of 2020, the first episode was released. So I'm going on 2 years on star107fm.com. So that was the central of getting it, starting to get that message out there to what I like to say is the masses. But again, man, it's all about sharing a message of impact and sharing a message of perseverance that's going to help people when they don't think there's anybody else who's been in that boat with them.
It's true. The Now when you end up having these group discussions and there's people from all over the place and all over all kinds of titles, and when you kind of look at the roster and you see that you're having teachers involved, you have regular folks like mom and dad. Um, are you ever intimidated of who's in your audience and who you're talking to? Um, whether it's a doctor in philosophy or whatever it may be. Does your guest ever intimidate you, or are you very strong with your message?
I have to be strong with my message. My message is my message. Your message is your message. Your core is your core. My core is my core. But guess what? At the very, very end, everything is simplistic, meaning that what I have to say, everybody has gone through or is going to go through. You're not immune to it.
Yes.
You have had, you will have, you shall have trials and tribulations. You shall have, you will have, and you will continue to have life lessons that are geared to make you, I always say, not go forward, but grow forward. These are things that still sit into you can put them right there in your memory bank. You can put them right there in your basket and say, okay, Mark talked about growth. What did he say? Mark said that growth means gradual reminder, opportunities will test hope. Growth. So they will actually go through and have that recognition and realize, okay, when I am going through something, I knew that Mark talked about that there's always going to be a gradual reminder that obstacles will test my hope. So everything that I write, everything that I think about, everything that I publish actually is geared toward making sure that you're not alone. You're going to make it through this. This is just a temporary. I use the word all the time, temporary. This is a temporary situation that you're going through to get you, to build you, to mold you, to caress you, to hold you and push you to that next level, man. That's what the process is always about.
So true. The says the time spent with Mark and Charlie is time well spent, and I really appreciate that comment. And Nathaniel Tawana says, "Awesome, Mark." My friend Michael Shamail, constant supporter of the Really Charlie podcast, says, "Good evening, Charlie and Mark." And grow forward. I like that. Was it something passed on to you, or was it something that you said, "Look, grow forward"? It was your brainstorm.
It was my brainstorm. I said that this is something we can't just go forward. Every day we're challenged to grow. I use the adage, Charlie. I always say, and everybody that knows me hears me say, comfort is a casualty of growth. Comfort is a casualty of growth. Meaning, if we stay stagnant, if we stay status quo, guess what? We aren't going to get the levels that we're truly called to get to. So we have to push ourselves and try to work to grow as much as we can, because it's about leaving a legacy, man. And that's truly what life is about, is leaving something that others will remember you for, but also respect you for, that you've entitled to put into them. Now I want to dial back to something that you said real quick. When you asked me earlier about who was it, or was it anybody, influential person inside my life? In the last episode, well, in season 5 of the process, because I'm in the 6th season right now. I wrote the episode, or excuse me, the series was called Procrastination, the Thief of Time. And the very last episode, I wrote something that I hope your listeners and everybody will go back and take a listen to. It was called Legacy. And I said that legacy stood for leaders exemplify greatness among choices over the years.
Wow.
And we truly think about that. That's individuals who I've watched, individuals who've influenced me. Although again, I had to learn through my failures. I had
Mhm.
to, you still know that there are individuals who have touched your life in some form or fashion. And I'm not ashamed to say that everybody that I come in contact with, they touch my life. They truly touch my life because I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to get better. I'm a whip. I'm truly a work in
Mhm.
progress. So I'm always trying to make sure, man, that I am going to go down as a leader, someone that is leaders exemplify greatness among choices over the years. You
Nice.
made bad decisions early. You made bad choices early because again, there's consequences for every action, right?
Mhm.
So you definitely make sure that you exemplify greatness among the choices over your years. So now that I'm getting wiser, I'm not saying older, I'm
Mhm.
saying, I'm saying I'm gonna say wiser, man. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not getting old, I'm getting wiser. And I do truly understand how the importance of knowledge, speaking, and wisdom listens at my age, man. I really do.
It's I'm going to tell you a little story about the word procrastination. Growing up, probably late teens, maybe not late teens, probably mid teens, maybe 13, 14. And my dad is talking to me, and he says, yeah, I'm a procrastinator, but he kind of threw, he really acted it out like it was something good and special, so I thought, wow, I'm a procrastinator. I'm glad I didn't go to school talking about I'm a procrastinator and being all proud about it. And so I never really thought about it. Maybe 2 days later I decided to look it up. And so when I looked at it, I said, man. So I go to him and he says, I'm glad you went to that dictionary finally. It took you 48 hours to get to it.
That's
So
right.
and so I've known that word for a while, and it's still still lingers on in this head of mine, and I'm always delaying, and the missus gets on me, and that's where the name really Charlie comes from. For situations where I procrastinated. So
Mhm,
the
mhm.
it is a thief. It is a thief, and I gotta really, when I think about it, if I got something I gotta do and it's in my head, I need to just do it right away, and uh and then it will be done.
Mhm. You see, I always remember I talked about in one of my other episodes is, you know, we can't replace a breath. We can't. You can't replace a breath. And the fact of the matter is, we got 86,400,
Love it.
86,400 seconds every single day. What we got. That's all we have. We can't carry it over. You can't put it in the bank. Once that clock hits that time frame, then guess what? It starts all over. Should we be blessed enough to wake up and start that all over again? So
Hmm.
it's about maximizing what we do in that time frame, as well as helping individuals that we come across reach their goals. So leaders don't do it for them; they do it because they see greatness that others don't see inside them. And
Hmm.
I tell everybody that I am charged that to help change lives. I recall, we do something inside of at work, and we asked about our past, our present, and our future. And when we talk to these young men and women, we tell them, you're not. Of course, we tell them you're not defined by your past, and you're truly not defined by your present. It's
Hmm.
what are you learning, or what are you going to take from that to again grow forward, right? So we never asked them to do something that we wouldn't do ourselves. So I tell them my mission or my purpose is to change 100,000 lives. And if I'm able to have opportunity to see that 100,000, then guess what? I need to change 100,000 more. Then I need
Yes.
to continue because it's about changing generations, man. It's about this is I close all the time with a hashtag that says legacy changing actions in 2022.
I love
Legacy
it.
changing actions in 2022. So we all become responsible about sharing words or imparting words that are going to help people, man, through those tough times. Help people through those times to where they think they can't make it. Help people in those times when they wake up, the first thing they do is do what? They look in that mirror. And they need to feel good about themselves and what they're going to get out and go through that next day or that day, that part of that 86,400 that they got up. So man, it's bigger than Mark Smith. It's bigger than what we're doing. This is truly the process.
Mm-hmm. If so, as you and I talk, and I'm very, I need some help with the process and with your philosophy and everything that you know, and obviously you put your theory to practice, you know, and it shows in all the work that you're doing. So I'm here and I'm saying, Mark, you got to help me out, man. I want to get to know this process. Um, do you try to find out what my problem is first? You know, do you analyze it? Do you want me to say it out front, up front? Or do you just, how do you go about making it easier for me to become part of the process or putting it in place?
I want everybody to understand that they have their own areas of opportunity. What does that look like? They do you want to say, have you been poor? I don't mean financially. Have you passed over opportunity repeatedly? So I'm saying these acronyms, man, are so key to making sure that we understand where we are and what we need to do. So it's not for me to tell you what you need to do. Inside yourself, inside your spirit, if you are comfort has created a casualty of your growth. If your words lie, your actions lie, and your consistency doesn't lie. These things. So I'm just here to listen to you. I'm just here to help share a message to have you learn what you think you are. You are truly a champion among champions. Every single day that you wake up, you have an opportunity when you wake up to make a change. You can change for the better, or you can stay status quo. It's totally in your ballpark. It's in your wheelhouse. But at some point in your life, you understand that you have to go through to get through. So whether that, Dr. Rick Risby once said that I always say a lot of times, he says that how you do anything is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that, man. That got me. And I said, so what does that mean? I said, that goes, Mark, what he's telling you is that goes back to what you wrote when you said accountability, integrity. How you do anything is everything. What are you doing when nobody's watching? When I'm outside in the front yard cutting the grass, if I'm outside going and getting the mailbox or going to the mailbox to get the mail, if I'm going to the local store, whatever I'm doing is how I do anything is everything. What am I leaving at that time? Because again, our conversation, anybody who's listening, I can leave them bitter or I can leave them better. That's my job. So how do I do? What is my legacy going to look like? What am I going to do? Am I going to show up? Yes. Am I not going to show up? No. So in a roundabout way, man, answering your question, I let them just tell me, and then they answer their own questions of where they truly want to go.
Awesome. It's my podcast has been a process, and I see from the beginning stages to now how things have improved. And in some cases, it was trial and error. And I didn't get frustrated because I knew it was something on my bucket list I wanted to do. But the one thing that really got me down and out was the comments during the podcast. I didn't get enough of them. I felt I didn't get enough of them. I said, let me work on this. There's so many people that I know that are out there and trying to, that are listening. And, but I wanted to talk to them. And, a friend of mine had talked to me and he said, look, don't worry about it. It's the message you're giving. They're listening. That's all you want. You want them to listen. And some people may not be ready to talk.
Mhm.
So
You know, I was watching I'm watching the news a couple of days ago, and they did a interview with Denzel Washington, and Denzel Washington said something, man. I mean, I mean, I listen to what he says a lot of times because again, he speaks the truth. Um,
yes.
he says something on the news that made me go, man, that's it. That's you hit the nail on the coffin. He said too many people are worried about Instagram likes, Facebook likes, LinkedIn followers, all of that. But the real hero sends a message that's perceived that nobody talks about.
Hmm.
Sends a message that is received that nobody talks about. And what you just said is the same thing that I thought about when I first started the podcast. I wasn't getting feedback. I wasn't getting this. I didn't have that. But all of a sudden, when I see the implementation of some of the things that I've talked about, when I
Hmm.
hear individuals come back and say, subtly say, "Man, that was a great message. Man, that was you gave me something to think about. Man, I'm gonna share this with my son. Man, I'm gonna share
Hmm.
it with my coworker." That's when you know that what you're saying is what you need to say. And I always close my eye whenever we do any interviews, whenever I do any show, whenever I even record a podcast that's going to be aired, just the audio portion. Man, I close my eyes and I pray. God, please give me the words to actually say and change somebody's life. Please let
Hmm.
what I have to say today in this message help somebody that truly needs to be helped at some point. And I close every message that I say. This message may not be for you. I say
Hmm.
it may not be for you, but you know somebody who it does apply to. So
Yes.
share that message with them, because we are all called to share a word that can help somebody. So
I
that's what
was.
we do, man. That's exactly what we do.
That's it. Yeah. It's amazing that you had just said that about sharing what may not be for you and just pass it on. And it's true. It's so true. Um, and I've gotten so much out of just your videos in this 2 week time you and I have been going back and forth. But it didn't take me long. You didn't take long to inspire me to kind of catch my ear. It was relatively quick, only because you don't talk down to anybody. You're just having a conversation, and I love that.
Mhm.
Being in the stage front or in the conversation and just speaking to people is something that you have. It's a gift, and continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you, thank you. Now I thought about something that um, my wife said to me that when you know 2000, I always talk about a little bit for a few moments. 2018, when I lost my job, man. But I use that adage, comfort is a casualty of growth. Mark got comfortable. Mark got
Hmm.
comfortable. Mark got comfortable from doing the normal routine. He didn't wasn't seeking anything else. He was felt that the status quo was there, and he was making a decent. I was getting paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a job. So I didn't complain about it, and for all intents and purposes, man, I was happy in doing what I was doing. But just as those things happen and we talk about situations that got pulled from me with the organization I was with and closing the doors. So I remember her telling me a long time ago, or telling me at that time, about my dreams. Mark, well, you have bigger dreams. You have bigger dreams. And she gave me something, man. She said, your dreams are usually influenced by the world, right? I said, yeah. She said, but your purpose is owning everything about who you are. And
So
man, that
true.
messed me up. That messed me up. And I go back and I read that. I read that every single day. I understand your dreams are usually, everybody's dreams are usually influenced by the world. But your purpose, not your platform, not your platform, your
Hmm.
purpose, you, me, we, individually, we're purpose. Your purpose is owning everything about who you are. So that was a turning point in my life to say, it's time that you put your big boy pants on. It's time that you really assess where you want to go in life. It's time that, again, you revisit the process and put it out there for everybody to listen to and understand what it's like to feel in the same way that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to go through a storm. It's okay to have fear. It's okay to talk about trust. It's okay to understand knowledge necessary to obtain wisdom. It's okay to get those things out there, Mark, for everybody to get it, or at least share it so they can have it. They can use it as a blueprint, and they can do what they need to do, man, to be the best that they can be. They say their best life. Yeah, all the tools are there for everybody, man, to live their best life if they utilize them.
So true. I was always trying to make something. I was always trying to make things happy, and thinking that things needed to be happy by spending money, uh, going on trips, doing things like that, and until I started to understand that, what, my family is so beautiful, and when the grandkids came around, that was even more. I mean, it takes them 2 seconds to make Papa happy. And I said, this is what it's about, and the best thing my family could do, if they know I'm having a bad day, it just make me go pick up one of my grandchildren, and chances are that day is going to turn around within 2 seconds, and I won't. And so, and I try to use that with everything else that I have, everything else that I'm doing in life, and to just turn it around, and you talk about growing forward. That stuck to me, and it's probably a phrase that I've never used up until these last 2 weeks, and now it's kind of that earwig, someone singing a song and it just stays in your ear. Well, growing forward is going to stay with me.
Man, I had to realize, and I hope our listeners realize and really process this. Life is simplistic. It truly is. It is truly simplistic. The what you just talked about, that smile, that peace that came over you with your grandbabies, that's simplicity. So we convolute a lot of things that we shouldn't convolute, instead of allowing and enjoying the simple, basic things that life has here for us, man. I always go back and think about when I wrote season 3, because again, I wrote The Foundation, I wrote The Perfect Storm, I wrote Where Do We Go From Here, I wrote Why Not Me, and I wrote Procrastination, the Thief of Time, and If I Only Knew Then What I Know Now. But I always go back, man, and think about my mission statement, or my power sentence, or power paragraph, and where do we go from here? And that's simple. When you look in your mirror, is the vision you see one of being poor or rich? Does it proclaim a victory, a progression, and growth? More importantly, does it radiate the glow of your purpose? Now, of course, everybody knows there's acronyms sprinkled in each one of those that they can go take a look at. But if you think about it, man, it's starting from the very first moment when you wake up, your mirror. What are we going to do? Or are we going to allow somebody to get in our own head? Are we going to walk out that door radiating the glow of our own purpose? What are we going to do? We got that choice, man. We have that choice to effectively change the life from the time that we come in contact with anybody, man. And that's simplicity. That is the definition of simplicity.
So true. Just want to let everybody know that there is a website on the bottom line there, www.theprocessmarksmith.com, and also Instagram, which is within_your_process. There's so many ways you can reach out to this man, this mentor. Now I'm going to call him a mentor, because once I start reading everything, I'm definitely going to get taught quite a bit, and I can't wait to be um, you know, that vivid reader or that constant reader of Mark Smith's, you know, books, whatever it is. And I know there's one thing. I'll be on the podcast I'll probably go through every single episode within this next week or two, without a doubt.
I appreciate you, man. It's an honor. Again, it's an honor, man, to be able to share, be able to give somebody something that they can use, man. I really, really, really enjoy it.
It's it. Terrence Allen says, Mark Smith, you are always dropping gems, or jewels rather, simply incredible. And I gotta agree, Terrence. I gotta agree.
Thank you.
And it's very nice to see all these YouTube people on the uh, on the podcast on this live feed, because I'm trying to do all I can to get the podcast, my YouTube um, channel up there and ready, and so um, I'm going to ask you a question, Mark, and I ask all my guests is, who would you like to see on the Really Charlie podcast?
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Um, Les Brown.
All right.
Let's get him more here. Let's get him more here. We'll get him on mine as well. So no,
Okay.
I don't know Les Brown. He did radio in Columbus, Ohio, where I grew up. So I know Les Brown before he became, or I've heard of Les Brown, heard him when he was just a DJ, when he was in WBKO in Columbus, Ohio. I was a that big. I was
Mhm.
a young man. So he does speak powerful knowledge. He speaks powerful words, and again, he would be somebody that I would love to see on your show.
I
So
have,
let's make it happen.
yes, I have family on Columbus, Ohio, on Roswell Drive,
Ah, okay.
and so my auntie, my grandmother's sister, she's out there and raised her family out there, and very fond memories of Columbus, Ohio. So,
Mhm.
um, and speaking of Ohio State, that's the first time I wore OSU T-shirt. My
Mhm.
uncle gave it to me, and I was so proud to bring it back to Massachusetts, and only because I've I definitely, I seen everything. He took me where I needed to go, and it was a great summer spending in Columbus, Ohio.
Mhm.
So, all right, I um, I actually, let's see, we're on 43 minutes. I definitely want to make sure that we get as much of the messages and conversation. Is there a conversation you want to have with me about anything? And I want to leave it open to you.
Well, not so much a conversation for you. I just a challenge to
Oh,
everybody that's listening.
okay.
I would like to see everybody create their own checklist. And by checklist, I mean their own self-assessment of where do they go from here. We've experienced and still experiencing one of the most traumatic times in history. I'm talking about COVID.
Yes.
We've had we continue to have an opportunity to preach unity. We have a continuing opportunity to enact unity all across all races, all religions. We are placed in a unique situation right now to where we can exercise unity. So I'd like to have everybody take a moment, take a step back, and reassess what type of contribution that they could make to help man. And when I say man, I mean women too, of course, to help mankind.
Yes.
Help everybody pull together to rid this thing from this ugly thing that has been placed here to unify us. There's a hidden message. There is a true hidden message in COVID-19. I
Hmm.
received something on Facebook and says something like that: if COVID-19 can work as fast to destruct, where we are, just think what the faith of a mustard seed could do. Just think what the faith of a mustard seed could do.
Yes.
So I'm asking everybody to make that checklist, to, think about who you are inside. There's nothing wrong with you. So I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with anybody. So if anybody gets in their feelings, I apologize. Not trying to go there. What I'm trying to do is get you to cause awareness to something that we're called to do.
Exactly.
Call awareness to sending a message of hope, perseverance, tranquility, and unity all across this country with everybody that you go to. We all are getting out. Most of us aren't staying in all the time. So are you going to carry those groceries for that lady at the grocery store and say, ma'am, have a great day? Yeah. Are you going to get your money back from the clerk at the store and say, have a great day? Yeah. Are you going to take that? Are you going to argue over a parking spot anymore instead of just looking at that person, giving them a parking spot, and you getting a little exercise by walking down the street? That happened. That happened to me the other day. What are you going to do, man? What are we going to do collectively to take back and harness the type of simplicity? Again, there's that word, the type of simplistic life that we all truly are called to have. I always go back and think about, and I talk about it all the time. I think about Don Ruiz in the 4 agreements. And number 1 was always be impeccable to your word. Are you impeccable to your word? Are you taking things? Don't take things personally. Are you taking things personal in life? Are you making assumptions? And are you giving your best all the time? These are checklists. These are things that I think about every single day, man, before I put my head down. Did I do these things? Did I work? Did I carry a grudge? Did I ill man potentially rub them the wrong way by saying it the wrong way? Go back. Everybody take a mental and internal, a true internal check within yourself and find out what you can do to help others grow forward. That's what I would like everybody to do.
Well, I definitely did it already by having Mark Smith on this podcast, on the Really Charlie podcast. I definitely did that already. And I'm going to continue to grow forward and do the things that you just talked about. Life is, I love people. I love life. I love people. I love communicating with people. It's definitely something that I needed to do after retiring from my, from the job, and I had to recreate myself, but I didn't want to leave behind that communication part, having that conversation with people on a daily and regular basis. So this is what the podcast has provided for me. And then actually, on Tuesday nights when I'm on the radio station, and communicating on selections of music, and I'm glad that, I was led in this direction. And it all started by someone else doing theirs. And I said, I like that. Let me do it. So, and, but one person I got to get on here is Anthony Black. I'm going to get that brother on here because there's some things that maybe even both of you, but I definitely want to get him on here and we can talk about some of the things. The one thing I like is just the internet radio that he's done. That is a job in itself. And with our radio station, I see our producer and owner, Brian Magnet, and the stuff that he goes through. And he has a big family just like we all have, and he has commitments and he has to do. But there's one thing, he's always on point and trying to make things go. And and Anthony is I feel that with him, so I want to definitely get him on this podcast within the next few weeks. I probably have to catch him at a weird hour or anything, but I definitely want to get him on here. So you have any secrets about him?
I don't, man. You'll catch him. I'll just tell you that. You'll catch him. Won't be hard. You'll catch him.
All right. I'm going to continue to share everything that you possibly have on the Really Charlie podcast group on Facebook. And please, anybody that wants to join that group, just go on Facebook and click on Really Charlie podcast group. And if you want to put someone on the podcast, please leave their name in the comment section, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, and just leave it there, or go on my the Anchor channel, and then just leave a message. You can leave electronic message, and I will hear it, and I can actually reach out to whoever you want. I have no intent. I'm not intimidated to reach out to anybody, and all they can do is say yes or no. And in this case, Mark Smith said yes, and I'm so happy that he did.
One of the models, Charlie, that I want to leave everybody with is something that everybody has heard me say, is that, I asked you about that checklist, right? I encouraged everybody to take that internal self-assessment. I'm gonna leave you with something that I always say, and that's that change begins and ends within. Change truly begins and ends within. Everybody has a voice, and everybody has the capability and the propensity to share a message that is going to resonate with somebody. I always say that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you're being watched, you're being observed. We talked about that a little bit earlier. How are you going to communicate getting us to the next level in everything that we do if you truly don't look within?
Mm-hmm.
You got to start at home. You got to start in the mirror. You got to be prepared to hear those no's. You got to be prepared to hear those tough conversations. But yet still, you got to be able to know that you're giving everything that you can to everybody every time you come in contact with them, to make sure that you are fulfilling your own obligation. So I truly, truly, man, again, I appreciate this opportunity. I'd love to, again, anybody that please, you see my contact information, listen to those messages. Those messages will resonate. I have no doubt in my mind they will resonate with you, resonate with your family. Share those. I'm definitely looking to other opportunities. If anybody would like to have a one-on-one conversation, please reach out to me. We can talk about some different things. I look forward to speaking for different organizations as well. That's something that I do. We can talk about that as well, because a whole host of things that at a corporate size level or a medium size level, each one of these messages we can talk about that actually impact and motivate your staff to get them a peace of mind to help your organization grow forward. It's about growing forward.
Awesome. Great message. Great message from a great man, a good man. And I, you know what? I can't wait. Definitely tomorrow, I'm going to select what I need to and listen to Mark Smith and definitely get it done within the next 7 days, because I don't listen to the radio. I listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's going to be so nice to go to Anchor and definitely put your podcast on and just listen from start to end, from A to Z. And thank you for being the inspiration, the mentor, that we all love. In the comment section is tons of people giving you praise, and you deserve it.
Well, thank you, everybody who tuned in. I truly am humbled, honored and humbled and blessed. Remember, what I close with all the time: your why is greater than your situation, which is part of your process.
So true. Strong supporter of me. It says, my experience with Charlie and his podcast is that I know that the important conversations are taking place because of what has been delivered during these podcasts. So true.
I agree, Michael. I truly agree.
Mm-hmm. Lisa says, thank you for your knowledge, wisdom, and inspiration. And please, Lisa, reach out to this man through his podcast and do that one-on-one with him. He's definitely is definitely a go-to.
Charlie, tell you, I return emails.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You sure do.
You don't have to worry about that. I return messages
Very quickly. I'm very. I gotta say that about you. You're on point with that. So, let's do this again, Mr. Smith. And
absolutely.
you anything you need me, just give me a holler, and I'll definitely put it on my podcast or anything. And that group session, that's awesome. I need to grab about 4 or 5 of my friends and talk with you.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, absolutely. Man, if in closing, I want to tell you, man, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I truly love. I know it's rough. It is nobody, and unless you've done it, unless you have the opportunity to do it, it's not an easy task. So what you're doing, man, you are truly changing and sending a message through not only through yourself but the other individuals that you place inside of your show. So whether it's the radio, man, whether it's your podcast, whether it's your posting of other information of others, man, please keep doing what you're doing, brother. You are truly changing lives. You are true in helping everybody across the world, not just locally there in your area, but you're helping everybody across the world, man, get to the levels where they truly want to get to, brother. So again, I salute you, brother. Keep doing it the way you do it. It's a great job.
Salute you too.
Great job.
You're doing a great job. And all right, you got a fan. I'm not your biggest fan because your biggest fan is at home with you, and I'm definitely there for you. And God bless, man. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you, brother. Same to you.
Thank you, Mark. God bless.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. This is definitely one of my favorite shows already. This dude is the anticipation of Mark Smith that I had for him was it all blossomed. It really, truly, truly blossomed only because it was just like, Christmas. This guy has definitely a lot of gifts out there for us all to make us better people and help out with humanity. Being a humanitarian, we all can do that very, very easily by looking in the mirror. But thank you for joining me on this podcast today. And I will be back on the podcast Wednesday. We have numerous guests that will be on one show, one podcast. We are definitely going to do a great thing with having Black-owned businesses that will be on Wednesday in the city. And they have a lot, especially healthy tips for us. So they'll be on Wednesday. And then Thursday is a big show for me. This is definitely, I will be with Coach M100, Marvin Speller, and we will be talking about mental health and how we need to put that as a priority. So that will be Thursday at 7:00. And then Saturday, I will be with Crystal Lister of the Wind Down podcast, who also owns Healthy Bites in the city of New Bedford, Massachusetts. So she will be on Saturday. Busy month, but thank you for the love and support on the Really Charlie podcast. And please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can actually get this message out to many, many folks. All right, everyone. God bless. Thank you.